Hey guys, how's it going? TDK, Mr. So Real, and in this week's Good or Garbage, we got a whole bunch of stuff for you to look at. If you are having the 1.6 blues and a bunch of your gear is just not up to snuff and not quite what it needs to be, there are quite a few decent things and some pretty good things that are being sold this week. Nothing god tier, but there are some pretty good options for you if you are looking to rebuild your character. Now, without further ado, why don't we get into this week's Good or Garbage? Let's go. Starting off the first 1.6 vendor update, we have the special blueprint vendor rocking the M870 shotgun blueprint, the snub nose rhino blueprint if you're ever looking for one of those, the stamina vest, firearms knee pad, high velocity magazine that has critical hit chance, the Tyrant suppressor that has reduced threat, critical hit chance, maybe a pickup, the stamina gear mod, and the performance gear mod. If you need any of these gear mods to kind of push your set into the direction that you want, maybe a little more stamina, maybe something to help out your skills, then there you go. In terms of things that are must buys, there's really nothing on this list unless you're a shotgunner who likes the M870. So why don't we go over and see what other things are being sold this week. Okay, over at the special equipment vendor, the Centurion exotic, I guess these things are exotics now, the exotic pistol, the Cassidy, the Liberator, the Historian, and the Pecan. Now, before you think about buying the Liberator, just know that the base damage is at 19.4. These things get over 20, so kind of keep in mind that the base damage may be a little bit low. The Historian's headshot damage is not quite up to snuff at 164. The Pecan seems like some pretty decent base damage. I'd actually like to see a little bit more. The damage to targets out of cover is only at 11. In terms of the other things that are being sold this week, there's really nothing amazing. The surplus SVD has a pretty nice headshot damage at 169, but I never was a big fan of these things. I just don't really like this weapon, but that's a personal thing. That's just me. Moving on to some of the things that are being sold. The number one recommendation that I could say straight off the bat is the tactical vest. Now, this tactical vest, even though the electronics is a little bit low, it has robust, which means if you go into cover, you get 10% extra armor, which is good. And then the best thing about this is that it has some amazing major attributes. Now, the health that it has is 16,498. Health is pretty much taken over where armor left off. So if you're trying to get your build a little bit closer to what it was like, then you may want to stack into health. Health is going to be the new go-to. And with health on armor pieces, the maximum you can get is 16,674. So this is pretty good. The other thing that it also has is 8% skill haste. Now, skill haste goes up to 9%. So it's only 1% off of that, and this will help you to get your skills back up so you can have more rolly balls, more fire turrets, more pulse, more health, healing stations, and all that good stuff to get you back into the fight and keep you going. And then to make it even better, you have 54% ammo capacity. So the only real downside to this piece is the electronics, which you can re-roll for whatever you want. I would actually rather have this be an option for rerollability than some of the other things. Now, the only downside to this is that it's 832 Phoenix credits. The rest of this stuff, I'm kind of not a huge fan of. I'm scrolling through it, so you guys can take a look if there's anything that interests you. I don't remember there being too much else going on. If I miss anything, leave a comment in the comment section or hit me up on Twitter, let me know or something. I do kind of remember there was the loud vent break suppressor. Now, this thing has 19% critical hit damage, 3% critical hit chance, 5.5 headshot damage, but the downer on this is that it has increased threat. So I'm not really a huge fan of increased threat, but if you are going for a crit build and you do get your headshots, then this may be something pretty nice to use if you have a bit more toughness. If you're a glass cannon, I definitely would not recommend this, as you will have a lot of things shooting at you, which would pretty much take you out of the game. The rest of this stuff, not really a huge fan of. This microscope is pretty decent. This is for pretty much any weapon you'd like. The smaller weapons to the larger weapons. 6% headshot damage, 4% critical hit damage, and 3% critical hit chance. If you need something like that, go for it. But personally, I prefer the 12 times scopes just because they have a lot more headshot damage on them. But if you're not going for headshots and you're just going for crits, this might be a good choice. So now, with all of that being said, let's go upstairs and see what other things are being sold. At the advanced weaponry vendor, we have a Magnum pistol, we have an Vector 45, we have this is the G36, and this is probably going to be the best bet going for the vendor this week. He has prepared, deadly, and focused. The base damage I'm not really too sure about. I don't think it's that high. I remember the G36 being one of the higher base damage assault rifles outside of the AKs, but this one seems a little bit low. So I would say if you have a G36, you may want to check the base damage. Also, the enemy armor damage is a bit low, so this may be a pass, but you'd have to check that out. The Marine Super 90 is also being sold with Predatory, Meticulous, and Destructive. If you're running the Last Stand game mode, shotguns, as you probably know, are pretty good. You may want to go with something a little bit faster firing like the Sausage to make sure people can't shoot you, but hey, it's still a good shotgun. This SOCOM M1A 160% headshot damage could be a bit better. It's also got Talented, Adept, and Unforgiving, not that great. The classic RPK 74, 13% damage to targets out of cover, base damage of 15.6 on my character. Yours may be different. Determined, Vicious, and Adept, not very good. The rest of the attachments I'm not a huge fan of. Most of these don't really seem to be all that great, so I would say pass on the vast majority of the stuff that is being sold at the advanced weaponry vendor. I'm pretty sad that this Vector 45 was a little bit bad. There was a better one last week, so yeah, too bad this one kind of sucks. So let's move on and see what other things are being sold. Over in the Grindhouse, for you marksmen out there, there is a pretty respectable military Scar H. It has 171 headshot damage, 172 is the maximum. It's got 61.5 base damage with my character. It has Prepared, it has Unforgiving, and it has Vicious. Vicious giving you more chance for criticals if you have 2 segments of health. So this could give you some damage when you have full health or a little bit of health. It has Unforgiving, which balances out, so if you go under and you don't get those criticals and you have only 1 segment of health, you get 25% bonus damage, and anything that is more than 30 meters away gives you 15% damage. So this is a great damage output regardless of your situation marksman rifle. The Scar H's can be pretty decent. I prefer the bolt actions right now. That is me myself, but I have used the Scar H's and they are all right. They're all right. They're pretty good. So if you're looking for a Scar H and you wanted one with some serious headshot damage, remember 172 is the max, and it has damage all the way around the board, then this is the one for you. All right, let's see what else is going on. All right, now for the newer agents in the crypt, if you do not have an LVOAC, one of the more popular assault rifles, there's one being sold. It has 23% enemy armor damage. The base damage is 21.1k with this character. The LVOAC that I believe was sold in the past had a higher base damage, I think of 21.4. This one has the talents of Accurate, Talented, and Ferocious. I know they aren't the greatest things going, but if you're playing PvE, then Ferocious is nice to have against name agents, especially in some of the more difficult challenges. Talented may not be the best for you, especially if you don't have enough electronics, but if you do have an electronic build, this may help you out even more because it gives you more skill power for things that you kill. So you can kill something with this weapon, get more skill power, and then throw out your rolly balls or your fire turrets or whatever, and they do more damage. Accuracy helps keep your bullets in a very tight grouping to help you hit your shots even better and have them land where you want them to go to get you that kill so you can proc Talented. And having Ferocious do more damage to named and elite enemies man, you can't really go bad with this. This will help you to get those kills so that you can proc talented, blah blah blah, you know the circle. So that's what could help out some of the newer agents. I know some of you vets already have really beastly LVOACs. This may not be for you, but there are some people that don't have such good luck. So for those of you who need one, there you go. All right, so let's see what's going on in the dark zone. In East 53rd Street, up by DZ6, there is a pretty respectable, pretty nice Navy MP5N. This has 22.5% critical hit chance. It has 18.4 base damage with this character. It has accurate, deadly, and swift. Now, having deadly to give you even more damage for those crits, accurate to make sure that that grouping is tight, especially since this is an SMG, so the fall off can be a little bit rough, and having that grouping even tighter is good. And then having swift for faster reloads could make or break your kill time in a very strict firefight, so you may want to check into that. Now, I have a Navy MP5N, and that one has 17.1k, so this is a pretty nice bump if you have the DZ credits for it. Now, the rest of the stuff that is being sold is not really all that great. I'm really sad about this 15 times scope. I don't know what they did to these things, but whatever. So Navy MP5N is right here. Check it out if you need one. In East 34th Street, there is snow inside of the vendor. All right, so there's an AUG Para XS. Has a respectable base damage of 20. The critical hit chance is a bit low at 20. It has predatory to keep you alive. I know a lot of people are struggling with staying alive because the heals don't do that much, but predatory is really nice to have. Capable and ferocious. So if you're doing PvE content, this could be really good for you. PvP stuff, not really all that sure about this one. But if you are a newer agent, you don't have anything like this, and you want to do some PvE stuff to get you up, this may help you. Or even if you're running in the last stand, this might be good just because of predatory, but you have to check that out for yourself. Now, the other reason I brought you here was for the electronics mod. Now, the mod itself has 263 electronics plus 3% skill haste. I believe skill haste goes up to about 4 or 5%, so this could help you get your skills back even faster. And with 263, it's pretty good. Now, there are some mods that I have skipped over this week that have a lot of health, but the thing is that they were usually under 250, or they were around the 250 mark, and I'm trying to promote 260 because it's closer to the top end of the spectrum for firearms, stamina, and electronics. So if you find something that has a really nice major attribute, but the other attributes like firearms, stamina, and electronics is not that good, I may pass over it. Unless it's like really close to max, but you know, we'd have to see. But just to let you know, there are mods that are being sold this week that do have health on them. So if you are looking for mods with health on them, I know for sure, and let me back out of this, I know that for sure, where is this? Not Southpaw, but the Ward has, I think it's it has a mod with health on it. I know that. I can't remember if it's stamina or firearms. But if you are looking for something for a little more health, you can go over to the Ward. All right, now let's see what other things are being sold. Now in West 31st Street, moving it on up. For you sniper aficionados, here we have a SOCOM M1A. I know people were looking for that with 172 headshot damage. That is the most you can get. So if you like the M1As, there you go. The base damage, I'm not too sure about. 55.5 seems kind of nice for a faster firing sniper. The only problem is the talents are not the best. We have adept, dominant, and skilled. Skilled is not a bad one to have to help get your supers up, and especially if you're working with your team to help them get their supers, but these other ones are kind of poo-poo. That is just what that is. Now, the other reason to bring you guys here is the prototype firearms mod. It has 260 firearms plus 2,982 skill power. The skill power is not the highest, but hey, it's 260 firearms plus a little bump to skill power doesn't hurt that much. So if you're looking for some skill power and you need a firearms mod, there you go. And if you're looking for a 172 headshot damage Marksman Rifle, then there you go. So let's see what else is going on this week. For you PvE players, in DZ2 there's a pretty decent pair of knee pads that'll help you out, especially if you are grinding and trying to level to get some caches. The knee pads have 16,213 health on them. The max that you can get with knees is 16,674, so this is not far off from the max. It also has the talent Accomplish, which rewards you triple for your accolades. It also has blind, deaf, disrupt, and shock resistance. You will have to re-roll the top stat, and I really don't mind that. I think that's pretty decent. You can get something closer to what you like depending on what you need, be it firearms, electronics, or stamina. So there you go. If you are looking for some knee pads to grind things out with and you want to have as much health as possible, remember health is become the new armor, then there you go. The vendor in DZ3 has a police M4. I know some of you were looking for the M4s and you guys like the M4s. So here's one that is being sold. It is 21% enemy armor damage. It has a base damage. It's a little bit lower than what I remember. Most of my M4s have about 21 to 21.1. So it's not too far off. Now the talents that it has are focused, vicious, and responsive. Responsive and vicious may not be too bad. Those are pretty nice talents to have. Focus you may want to get rid of, or if you like focus from the G36s, then hey, there you go. You got an almost G36 with, I believe, a faster fire rate. So that's the police M4 that is in DZ3. Check it out. Alright guys, so we're in a new area up in DZ8. I'm still looking around to find where these safe rooms are, and I stumbled upon DZ8 and I had to get in here. Now the Dark Zone vendor in DZ8 has I believe a vigorous chest. I know some people like vigorous, and here is one with 1261 stamina, which is pretty good. The health on it is 15,351. Remember that the most you can get on a vest for health is 16,674, so it's not quite the best, but it is pretty good. It has 4% health on kill, and it has increased kill XP. So if you need vigorous and you want health and you want even more health on kill, then this could be something worth taking a look at. The rest of the stuff, you have a specialized backpack. If you're looking for specialized but you don't have one of these, if you're a newer agent, then you can pick one up here. This has 1188 on electronics. You'll definitely need to re-roll that. The major attribute is skill power, and the skill power is 11,933. The max you can get on a bag is 13,339, so this is quite a bit lower, but if you need the skill power, having specialized and having skill power on the bag is not a bad idea. Plus it has burn resistance, which is not too shabby. Now the last thing that I'd like to talk about is the gloves. Now the gloves, we have 1267 electronics, which is pretty good if you're running electronics build. Plus it has astute. The first 3 bullets in your magazine have a 5% higher chance for a crit. Then you have 4% health on kill, 908 for SMG damage. The most you can get on an SMG for damage, I believe if it still rolls over, is 1001. Plus you have 6.5 enemy armor damage, so you can roll something off if you don't like it and try to go for something else like crit hit chance, crit hit damage, or something like that. And that is pretty much it for this vendor in DZ8. Alright guys, now in our final stop of the day, we have DZ9. Now in DZ9 there is I believe a really badass Predator's Mark bag. Now 1270 is pretty high. 1272 is the max, so that is very good. Plus you can get 55% ammo capacity, which is also amazing for a bag. Now the last thing that it has is 8% critical hit damage, and you can roll that off if you like. This is a pretty good bag. I would highly recommend this if you have the DZ funds for it, and if you're running Predator's Mark. It's still a good set, so there you have it. Now the other things kind of worth talking about is the Century Mark gloves. Now these gloves, of course, they are not the best, but they do have a very high armor rating, which is why I am talking about them now. 994 is pretty good. If you have something better, then by all means use that. But this does have 994 for Century gloves. I know some people are asking me about Century. How does it stack up now at 1.6? I still need to do some testing, but if you want some Century gloves and they're not falling for you, this is one place you can pick up a pretty good pair with armor on them. Unfortunately, they have crit hit damage at 14, which is kind of low. Shotgun damage, so if you're running shoddy, that could work out for you, and 8% skill haste, so if you're running electronics, that might work. If that does not sound good for your build, then you may want to throw it in the garbage. And that is it for this week's Good or Garbage. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. There's a lot of new stuff going on with 1.6, so I hope you guys find what you're looking for, you fine-tune your build, and find out what works for you. Until the next video, I am Khan, TDK, Mr. So Real. Thank you guys for all the support. Hope you guys are enjoying a lot of the new videos and the new games that I'm playing and stuff like that. If you have any requests, anything you'd like to know, anything you want to see, be sure to go and check out the Facebook page. Make sure to hit me up on Twitter or on Instagram. I do check those quite often, so you can hit me up and ask me anything. Or if you just want to come and chill out with the Facebook group, bunch of good guys who are talking about games, not only the Division but every game under the sun. Some of my friends are even there who also stream and do stuff. The homie Crudy just got the Nintendo Switch. He did an unboxing video. You might want to check that out, and he's gonna be having some games pretty soon. I don't know if he's streaming or not, but shout outs to him for getting the Nintendo Switch. If you're interested in that, you may want to check him out. Alright, that is it. Until the next video, I am Khan, TDK, Mr. So Real. I will catch you in the next one. Take it easy, guys. Have a good weekend. Peace.